Shalom Bapak Ibu Saudara terkasih dalam nama Tuhan Yesus. Apa kabarnya hari ini? Saya harap saudara tetap dalam keadaan luar biasa dalam perlindungan Tuhan Yesus Kristus. Amin saudara terkasih. Baik, kembali pada hari ini kita akan mendengarkan sebuah kesaksian yang luar biasa yang datang dari saudara kita yang kali ini berasal dari luar negeri. Bagaimana kesaksiannya ia bisa menerima Tuhan Yesus sebagai Tuhan dan Juru Selamatnya? Mari kita dengar secara bersama-sama.
I believed Islam was genuinely true. I believed that it was the true monotheism, that Christians who worship the Trinity were polytheists. Not realizing it, they didn't realize that they were worshiping three. They would say one, but it was actually three, and they didn't know what they were doing. That's what I believed, and so I would extend people the invitation to Islam. I would argue that the Bible isn't reliable. I would argue that Jesus' death on the cross doesn't pay for one's sins, that Jesus never claimed to be God. These kinds of basic Islamic claims, I would argue for them, and what I found was that the average Christian had no response. And so that made me more confident and bold in presenting Islam to Christians. So it wasn't until I got to my university that I ran into somebody who actually had a response.
Okay.
In his case, it was defending the Bible. He gave me good reasons to believe the Bible was reliable.
So this person was obviously very influential. You had, I think, a number of long-running discussions and debates with him. You were roommates, is that correct?
Well, we met because we were both on the debate team, and we were on a tournament together. We ended up rooming together on those tournaments.
Yeah.
But after that, I found out he was studying biology. I was doing pre-med, and so we would sign up for classes together. We would study together, and in our free time, we would just argue about the Quran and about the Bible. And so, yeah, we really did have great long discussions, which lasted over the course of years. I mean, he didn't convince me of anything overnight. It was the fact that we had this long-running discussion where we could revisit things that we had discussed before.
What would you say was the turning point for you then?
The turning point, I would say, was, well, first, we didn't talk about Islam critically right away. We talked critically about Christianity, and I was quite convinced that the Bible had been altered over time, that Jesus never claimed to be God, that the Trinity was unreliable in terms of unviable as a concept even. And so over the course of these discussions, he was able to show me how he could rely upon the text of Scripture, how we could know that the New Testament message has not been changed. And it took me about a year, but I realized that's probably true. But then I asked, wherein the Bible does Jesus claim to be God? Now that's kind of the most important thing for Muslims, because Jesus is a prophet according to Muslims. He's the Messiah even, but he's not God. And according to the Quran, he never claimed to be God. So if we find that the New Testament is reliable, and therein he claims to be God, that's a problem for Muslims. So first looking at the Gospel of John and then moving my way through the Synoptics to Mark's Gospel, I realized that Jesus always claimed to be God. All four Gospels, he's God. Even before the Gospels were written, if you believe Paul's writings came first, which most people do, Paul says Jesus is God. The early Christian community uniformly said Jesus is God. And how are these Jews, who are so emphatically monotheist, saying this man is God? It only makes sense if we conclude that Jesus himself claimed to be God. And so when I realized that the historical evidence was in favor of Christianity, that's what got me to bend my knee to God and say, God, can you show me who you are? It wasn't that I was convinced Christianity was true, but that's when the search went from an academic one to a heartfelt one.
Amin, saudara kasih, luar biasa. Dari yang awalnya ia ingin berdebat dengan temannya di universitas, ia ingin meyakinkan kepada temannya bahwa Kristen itu salah, mereka menyembah tiga Tuhan. Namun disitulah titik baliknya, saat ia mulai menyadari bahwa Tuhan itu ialah Juru Selamat. Yohanes 1 ayat 1-2, ini ayat saya yakin saudara sudah tahu, tapi saya akan bacakannya. Yohanes 1 ayat 1 dan 2, pada mulanya adalah firman. Firman itu bersama-sama dengan Allah, dan firman itu adalah Allah. Ia pada mulanya bersama-sama dengan Allah. Amin. Firman itulah yang sekarang yang menjadi manusia, dan itulah Tuhan Yesus, Tuhan dan Juru Selamat kita. Amin. Oleh karena itu kita kekristenan mengenal Tritunggal, dan itulah luar biasa ya saudara, bagaimana kekristenan itu menjamin nyawa kita, roh kita, keselamatan ada di tangan kita. Dan puji Tuhan saudara kita ini sudah mengenal Tuhan Yesus, menerima Tuhan, dan jiwanya sudah diselamatkan. Dan tugas kita tetap saudara untuk memberitakan Injil kepada siapa saja melalui tingkah laku kita, melalui perbuatan kita, melalui kebiasaan kita. Biarlah kebiasaan-kebiasaan kita, apa yang kita lakukan di masyarakat yang menjadikan Kristus semakin dipermuliakan. Amin. Baik saudara, saya pikir cukup untuk kesaksian ini. Saya Amron Sitinja dari Khotbah Pendeta Channel. Sampai jumpa di kesaksian-kesaksian berikutnya. Tuhan Yesus memberkati. Shalom.